Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Cancer energy, and we're going to look at it from a couple different perspectives because everybody kind of in their emotional maturity level of tempering their more immature, self-centered, whatever, egoic nature is different. And so people are going to harness this energy differently depending on the lessons that they've learned in life. We'll keep repeating old patterns until we've kind of learned the lesson we needed to learn to kind of go to the next phase of life. Just like we did when we had to quit aligning with our 15-year-old mentality to go to an 18-year-old mentality. And sometimes when some people are ready to move forward in life and face some of their fears of moving forward in life differently, some other people in their life aren't ready to move forward in that way. Just like sometimes we had people in our life that were ready to move forward in life differently and we weren't, right? So we're going to use three of these Intuit decks that's off their Etsy shop to see what kind of message we get. We have a lot of cards not showing themselves, so that's kind of interesting. Okay. So the way I view the cards not showing themselves is that we can all have people in our life. We either have known them, we're getting to know them, and we don't maybe kind of realize with some people we harness these energies the same. High vibe, kind of more worldly focused or more shadowy focused. And sometimes we get ourselves in some more mismatched relationships because we didn't know maybe even the importance of trying to figure out if we harness those energies in the same way. But let's go look at the cards that are showing themselves. But first of all, this card is the card that I think is kind of like the overarching reason for the reading, which is your words have power beyond the finite understanding of your planetary mind. Last time I used this deck, this card kept coming out all the time. So the power of the words that we speak to ourselves, the power of the words that we can speak to others, and of course it kind of brings up that biblical reference that, we speak things into existence. So, this watch your thoughts. Your thoughts are kind of like words that you tell yourself. So I'll let you read that on your own. Then we have sharing and cleaning. Teaching in reverse. Emptiness, the empty chair. And painting. And at the end here we have impatience. We could have all worked with people. You could look at the cleaning card as like you're trying to clean people's vision in a way. They could be trying to get you to see life from their perspective. You could be trying to get them to see life from your perspective. The sharing card can mean that, we've had people and we have people in our life that we could have felt like in a lot of ways we did get along with, but maybe we weren't seeing things clearly. And, we didn't know kind of what their truth is, and they didn't really know what our truth is, and we could have hoped that we both had the same perspective. But with the teaching in reverse, we kind of get to a point where, you know what, you do you and I'll do me. With the people that we kind of find we're a little more mismatched, you have the free will to live your life whatever way you want. If that's the way you view life, whatever through rose-tinted glasses, clear-sighted glasses, or whatever, you have the free will to live your life whatever way you want and what makes you happy. And we kind of get out of, it's one thing to just be loving and encouraging to people, and you can lead by example. But you don't have to try to get kind of like indoctrinate people into thinking, trying to get people to view life the way you view it, right? And, when we quit trying to get other people to change, that's when we can really kind of go on this adventure. The impatience card reminds me of the temperance card, Sagittarius energy, fire sign energy of everybody should go on the adventure of living their truth. Quit trying to change other people and spend your time investing your time, energy, and effort into the people who kind of have the same vision as you have. If you are more impulsive or self indulgent, say someone is, more prideful, more egotistical, more materialistic, hey, go knock your socks off. Just go hang out with some people who that is their truth. If you're kind of more motivated to have a more deep, meaningful relationship based on truth and love and tempering your ego, well, then go work with people who seem to be more aligned with that truth. And sometimes it's difficult because there can be people in our life, brothers, sisters, parents, adult children, longtime friends, romantic interests, that we really kind of wanted them to kind of, the painting card kind of reminds me of like, this picture, this dream that we're trying to manifest. And we hope that they kind of wanted to create and manifest what we wanted to create and manifest, but that's not their truth. And so we have to balance out our emotions about the fact that some of those people are going to go create what they want to go create. If we were in a friendship or relationship with them, we could realize that that wasn't what we wanted to create. And so sometimes we could feel like some people in the teaching and the emptiness, shadowy energy can be that people do more indulge their more immature nature. That can be their truth. And if their truth is that they kind of indulge their more immature nature, they think other people should be willing to indulge them in their immature nature. And we know people who are impulsive or reckless or bossy or controlling or defensive or prideful. They think it's just and fair. And then they don't understand maybe why other people don't think that's just and fair. And Sagittarius about higher learning and education, they might have some people leave their life and they're going to have to, shadowy Sagittarius that anyone can harness, can be that some people are kind of immature and they got some lessons to learn and to go learn some hard lessons just like the rest of us did. And they might have to have more people kind of distance themselves from them before they start to kind of realize how they contribute to those relationships not working out. And until they're willing to kind of look at life differently and be inspired to offer a different mix of what they like contribute to creating things with people, like, what? I shouldn't be bossy and controlling? No, it's really not helpful. Oh, well, I'm used to doing that. It's like, yeah, well, are you willing to see that that doesn't work out the way that you want? Are you willing to see the truth of it? Because the truth sets us free. But we have to get out of our ego and kind of quit telling ourselves, well, I think it's just and fair for it to be more about me, or for me to be bossy and controlling, or more about these things. It's like, well, as long as you can find someone else who agrees with you. But if you're having a hard time finding people who agree with you, does there come a time where, it can't be just about us? And at a more shadowy level, we can be more about ourselves, and some people are just more about themselves, and that's why they get in relationships, because it's more about them indulging themselves in a relationship or a job or a friendship for what they can get out of it, maybe to try to clean up their image. Look, I'm in a relationship with this person. See, I'm not in that other relationship. See, I've grown, I've healed, I've matured, but they really haven't. But sometimes people get in relationships or take a new job or whatever just to try to create the appearance. In high vibe, you're being authentic. And in shadowy energy, you're trying to manipulate people and confuse people about the truth of who you are. And some people right now could be just could be indulging some people in a relationship. It's really, they're still not going to learn anything. The emptiness could be kind of like a Five of Pentacles energy where they're just more aligned with being more about themselves in the world, their egoic nature, their defensive nature, their immature nature, their materialistic nature, something. And they could just have a lot of growing up to do. And it's just to manipulate people for how it benefits them. Still unwilling to get out of their ego. Unwilling. High vibe energy is being like a good leader in the world. They're not interested, maybe, in being a good leader in the world. Anyway, so high vibe people are working together with people. They want deep, meaningful relationships. No longer in illusion. No longer trying to change people. I'm inspired to go find people in the world who are not looking for me to indulge them in their immature nature, not looking to get in a relationship for some ulterior purpose. If you want to work together with me in truth and love, then I'll work together with you. And the people in my life who work together with me in that way, I'm moving forward with. The people who aren't, yeah, I'm no longer hanging out there, and I've moved on. So let's go see what these cards are that aren't showing themselves. Technology, laziness, and belonging. Well, in a shadowy way, people can almost be like living more from their mind than their heart, is what that kind of makes me think of. Oops, got an alarm on my phone. You know, where it's kind of this mechanical process. I don't really want to put work and effort to be inspired by truth and love and justice and fairness. That kind of takes work and effort, and maybe I'm kind of lazy. And I really don't want to put in the work and effort, and some people could think, you know, but I want to belong and I want to be in a relationship. So it's like they have this idea, I'll just create an illusion. That's the type of person I am. And get in relationships with people and hoping that the people who are kind of motivated and inspired to make things just and fair and loving and victorious and successful and move things forward in that way, those kind of people put in a lot of work and effort to make things just and fair and balanced and work cooperatively with people. And sometimes that's the kind of people that more shadowy people are looking for. If I can get in a relationship with you and you don't see through the illusion of who I am, then we have the organizing card. You know, so long as I kind of keep things, shadowy energy is like trying to control things. High vibe energy, you let love and intuition guide you. I just kind of go with the flow. You know, what's working, what's not working. When we see that something isn't working, you know, we work together to clean that mess up, you know, and then we keep moving forward. But other people try to control and manipulate people. And hoping that if other people are really motivated to put in this work and effort, they'll just let them move forward with them because that person's really motivated to create something. Wonderful. Let me come with you. I'll be in a relationship with you, and you create this beautiful picture of our life, and you put in a lot of this work and effort. And until you see the truth that kind of I'm checked out, I'm not really motivated to put in that work and effort, being really motivated and inspired. I want to indulge in it. I might focus on other things that I want to put my time and effort into, but I don't really want to maybe connect in with my more creative, inspired, intuitive nature. I like to live more from my mind than my heart. I use the gifts that I was given, my emotions and my sexuality and my intellect and my words and my charisma or my assets and my resources. I use all of those kind of in a manipulative way to get what I want. I don't take more creative, inspired action to really be more authentically myself, which is just being more authentic in a relationship. You're either kind of hiding behind your ego and your defensive nature, or you're really being authentic in a relationship. And some people hide the fact that they kind of want to cheat the system with the laziness. I want what other people have, and I want to look like I have what other people have. But instead of me being someone who is inspired to actually create that, I'll just get in a relationship with someone who's motivated and inspired to create that. And they'll maybe not want to see the truth that they're really the ones. Sagittarius is represented by the 8 and the 9 and the 10 of Wands, putting in a lot of work to move things forward. Defending relationships, inspiring people, liking to help people work through their fears and their insecurities and their self-learning beliefs. But there comes a point in time where even the loving and encouraging people can feel kind of exhausted, And that's when they could kind of see that the other people, you offer love and encouragement to other people so that hopefully they would do this work within themselves to reconcile themselves with some of their issues from the past or whatever that kind of stops them from being more inspired within themselves to be more bold and brave and confident or free from those things that manipulate them. Become free of their more defensive nature, their more lazy nature, their more codependent nature. And eventually people see that they have no interest of incorporating that within themselves. You have to be inspired to even want to change, to paint a different picture of your life. And people who kind of say they have a lack mentality, they will prove themselves right, because we all prove ourselves right. See, I told you. See, that didn't work out. See, those people left. Yeah, and how did you act in that relationship? And those people left. Oh, well, I hid that I like to live more from my mind than my heart. I didn't really put in work and effort. I really didn't work with them cooperatively. But, I kind of have this immature way of viewing relationships, and I think that they should want to keep working with me. I've had people in my life who, played that role in my life, and I'm looking for someone new to play that role in my life. Well, we could have had parental figures in our life or loving and encouraging people in our life at one time. We could have had boyfriends or girlfriends at one point in time who kind of were willing to do that. But the whole thing is, we all kind of learn lessons in life. And again, it's like some people don't want to grow up. And while they don't want to grow up, other people did. And relationships that people were willing to be in and things they used to kind of poor behavior or something that they used to indulge in people at one point in time in their life, they're not willing to indulge people like that later on in their life. Grow up. And some of these people are like, but I don't want to grow up. This is my truth. This is what I want to create. And they just keep staying more immature. Well, again, they're going to have to repeat it over and over until they find someone who keeps willing to indulge them in these more immature, shadowy ways of being. Now, I think if you work together with people cooperatively and you realize that living more from my mind than my heart and thinking I should be self-indulged doesn't really get me what I want, I reconcile myself and I learn the lesson I was meant to learn from that. And I grow out of that more immature way of being. And I myself have learned to be inspired to want to be in more deep, meaningful, loving relationships. And I've done the work within myself to kind of clean up my act. I don't even have an interest of acting like I did when I was 15 or 18 or 21 or 25. It's not even an option. I've cut that out of my life. And when some people cut those ways of living life out of their life, they cut people like that out of their life. And some of the people who are trying to find someone new to fill the spot. But some people are like children and they're looking like for someone to be like a parent to them. Well, if they can find someone who wants to be in that type of relationship dynamic or hasn't learned the truth about people like this, they present themselves as maybe in Cancer energy being these loving family people, but it ends up feeling kind of empty and hollow and superficial. It's like people having sex with people in a relationship, but not having a more authentic, deep, meaningful relationship. And that's when other people kind of realize that I just think you're kind of immature, or you just want to indulge in a relationship, but you lack depth. You know, it's not really about connecting with people on maybe a more deep emotional level. So anyway, some people have cut some of those people out of their life. The high vibe people have reconciled themselves with the past. They've done the inner work to work through why they would have even gotten in and stayed in that relationship for as long as they did. And they're done trying to change other people. I offer people truth and love and encouragement, and if that doesn't seem to be the truth of who they are, I'm done trying to change people. You know, I'm just going to go live my life and invest my time, energy, and effort into people who are more open to being more just and fair and authentic and loving and kind of leading by example than, you know, and maybe being someone who's more creative and inspired will maybe make some of those people wonder, why am I not doing that? Why am I doing this? It's like, well, I don't know. That's for you to figure out. What's coming up for some people who harness some high vibe Cancer energy that they might not see coming? And I think you've learned the power of, you know, what you say to yourself. And you're choosing to be an inspired, aligning with your more creative, inspired nature within yourself. Being like a good parent to yourself. Being your own best mother, father, coach voice to yourself. Working through your own fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs so you don't repeat an old pattern of a way of living life or getting in relationships with certain type of people. What's coming up for you that you don't see coming? The Tower. The Page of Wands, the Tower. And the reason is because of the Emperor. So, when we've learned these lessons in life, it is about finding balance. If we tip too far out of balance one way or the other, in our loving nature, we can be a loving and encouraging and supportive person. But if we're not standing up for authenticity, is what the Page of Wands and High Vibe can represent. You know, where people are working together with us cooperatively, it's imbalanced. We're offering love and encouragement to someone, and it's kind of like we're giving and that person is taking, but then they want it to stay equally out of balance. You give, 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 I'll take, take, take. So we can be equally out of balance in our more loving nature. We can equally be out of balance in our shadowy nature, where we make decisions more out of our fear and our insecurity and our codependency and looking outside of ourselves for people to validate our worth and value versus us validating our worth and value, and realizing people in the world are going to make their decisions about us based on the type of person they are. I'm just going to go live my authentic life. I'm going to go I'm going to be a good leader in the world. A good example is what High Vibe Emperor is, where you've learned all these lessons in all these, you let your heart run your life. You let your mind run your life. Your 3D world, your passionate, immature nature run your life at different times, right? And you've learned all these lessons to realize that all aspects of me are equally important. I can love people, but if I don't keep things in balance, that people being grounded and stable and like mature, and people being honest and just and fair, and people being self-inspired, if I'm harnessing those energies, all four of them, which also the Emperor is Aries energy and the Four of Wands is also Aries energy, and I kind of view that as firing on all four cylinders. Knowing that all four aspects are equally important, but we'll tip ourselves out of balance because, like, oh my gosh, I love them. And, we think the most important thing is love. Well, love is the highest energy you can offer people, but to offer it in a just and fair and stable and balanced and grounded way. And that people have to respect that you're not going to tip yourself out of balance. It's important for me to stay grounded within myself in my earth sign energy. It's important for me to have stability and security in my life and in my relationships, in my mind, to be aligned with my truth and for things to be just and fair. I can't keep staying in denial of the truth that other people aren't being just and fair, And so, and when you're a high vibe emperor, and the masculine cards can represent how we go present ourselves in the world. If you truly are a high vibe emperor and you've learned these lessons in life, internally, emotionally, you're an empress. You're balanced within yourself. You've put in the work and effort to love yourself, to temper your own dualistic nature, to not let yourself get tipped more out of balance, making good decisions in your life, because doing this work within yourself freed your own inner child nature to get out of your ego, quit letting more of fear or insecurity or other people be more bossy or controlling of you, letting your ego or your shadow nature kind of run your life. No, I am the leader of my kingdom of self, and I have all these different aspects to me: my heart, my mind, my creative nature, my inspired nature, my worldly nature, and I am going to make good decisions in my own life out of protecting my authentic nature that does have hope and faith and belief and love. And if there's people in my life who want to be in a relationship with me, but they're more aligned with being more about themselves or the world, or trying to control me, or think it should be more about them, no. If there's people in the world who could be loving and nurturing, but they're kind of equally out of balance, where want me to be in this more codependent energy with them, where it's kind of like people who want you to let them be God in your life. Don't listen to your own intuition. Don't love and believe in yourself. You should look to me to be the answer to all your problems. It's like, that's giving people too much power in my life. I'm going to love me, and like high vibe energy of God is going to be the third party in my life. Do you want to be in a relationship with me? Then you have to align with high vibe energy of having hope and faith and belief and love. If you're still more aligned with your ego and wanting imbalance, codependent, immature, whatever type relationships, I'm not interested. And it could be a shock. The tower can be, it could be a shock to people in your past that you have freed yourself, that you are moving forward in life, loving and believing in yourself. It could be kind of shocking to people who you currently could be working with that, wow, I thought like a lot of the world that maybe you just live more from your mind than your heart, and that you would maybe get in relationships just to be in a relationship, maybe to indulge in it for the ego or the image, or I know you're a loving person and I know you like to maybe help other people love and believe in themselves, but there's a limit, and you're not going to get in a relationship dynamic like that again. And so there could be different people that would like to be in a relationship with you, but they see the truth that if they want to be in a relationship with you, they have to let their inner child and their more authentic nature out to play. And it has to be the truth, no illusion, no trying to cloud and confuse your vision about the truth of who they are. They have to be authentic. And then you can really go on an adventure with people because you're with people who have no interest in trying to manipulate and control you. They see you aren't being trying to manipulate or control them. It's like, let's just get to know each other. And again, we'll let love and intuition guide us and, be truthful and honest and take the lessons that we've learned, not to repeat some old patterns, and be good leaders in our own life and in this relationship. When our decisions are going to affect the other people, we take them into consideration. And then the child can also represent giving birth to something new. And I do think fire sign energy is kind of the last aspect of ourself that has to get on board for us to go create something new. And we have to be inspired to want to even create something new. And some people aren't. They're kind of still in their fire sign energy, still motivated and inspired to keep living life the way they're living life. And now you've worked maybe through the mind and the heart and the 3D world. And now in your fire sign energy, you're ready to move forward in life differently. And you're going to go to that next phase of life, and people could be shocked that you're not repeating an old pattern, and you're not going to repeat an old pattern with them. And new people who met you kind of thought you would repeat this old pattern. It's like, no, I'm inspired to go do something new, and it wasn't that. And I haven't been there maybe before either. And I'm just listening to love and intuition to guide me. But while I do it, I keep maintaining balance within myself. I don't get caught up in illusion. I deal with the truth, kind of seeing things clearly, seeing the truth of how different people act and behave and respond. I'm trying to treat people in a just and fair and authentic and loving and encouraging way who wants to work together with me in that way. And if they don't, it's like, okay, I wish you peace. Hope that works out. I'm going to go find people in the world who do seem to be more open and receptive to working together with me in that way. So that's funny. 2 towers. So it is about, the way I kind of describe the Emperor and the Empress. Over there I have that wooden board that has all the zodiac sign traits and characteristics. And we all tap into our emotions. We all tap into our creativity and our worldly nature and our mind. But high vibe energy is staying centered and kind of knowing I can go out this far in certain areas of my life at different times. But I've already went off the edge way too far at times. And I've learned when too far is too far. And if there's people in my life that want me, or even trying to test what my boundaries are, why are you trying to test what my boundaries are? Why aren't you just working together with me? I can extend people grace. Everybody can have a bad day, different things in life. But if people think that I don't know, that I'm going to quit standing up for myself and my loving nature and my truth to indulge them. That's like shadowy fire sign energy. I'm not going to. And it could be a shock to some people who could know that you have love for them, and maybe in the past they thought they could kind of manipulate and control you because of your more hopeful, believing, loving nature. It's like, yeah, and I saw the truth of it, and I don't like it. And I see you keep standing up for your truth, which is going about things in this shadowy way, while I equally had to learn to stand up for myself and my truth. And I'm not doing that anymore. So unless you want to work together with me in a more just and fair and authentic way, then I'm going to distance myself from you and have good boundaries to you and keep moving on. And some of those people are shocked because that is the way they could have viewed life. Oh, I'm not going to be a loving person because loving people, I've been hurt and manipulated by people. I'm not doing that anymore. The loving people get manipulated. I'm going to be one of the people who manipulates loving people. Well, okay, go try that, but you're going to have to go try it with someone else because I saw the truth of it. And for some of the people who are repeating that pattern again with someone else, some of those people are seeing the truth of it. And some people who had the same lesson to learn as you did, who are trying to change other people, some of those people are seeing the truth. I'm done trying to change other people. You know, you're not the only one going through this in the world. Other people are going through it. And as we get out of these more mismatched relationships, it opens up the opportunity for us to move forward in life and invest our time, energy, and effort to find people who are more on the same page as us. What's coming up for people who harness a more worldly, shadowy Cancer energy that they might not see coming up? The Emperor. Why? Because of the Page of Pentacles. So you're harnessing more of a high vibrational fire sign energy, particularly I view the Emperor as Aries energy, and some other people equally harness a more worldly, shadowy Aries energy, a little bit more about themselves. Maybe again wanting a more codependent relationship. They can present themselves as being like a good leader and you should be in a relationship with them. You should be their friend. You should work for them. You should date them. You should marry them. And they could seem like someone who, you know, is that type of person. And that's why you could have been drawn and attracted to them to begin with. But as time goes by in the relationship, you kind of come to realize that, and sometimes people can just get spoiled in a relationship, but you either start to see that they're more aligned with their more worldly nature in the Page of Pentacles, that it's more the world or the ego or the image or the money or status and things like that, that really is more what drives and motivates them than being more inspired by truth and love and growing and healing and maturing themselves. And some people could think, I have a lot of these things. I don't think I need to do that because I think there's other people that will want to be in a relationship with me. It's like, well, then you can go be in a relationship with someone else. And they might have some lessons to learn, maybe kind of immature. And they also might be people who like people to be more codependent on them, male or female. I like to be the boss. I like it to be more about me. And if you're not willing to kind of indulge them, then they don't kind of want to keep being in a relationship with you either. Well, if they keep acting like this, there are always going to be some new people who are willing, who have lessons to learn from people like this, who are willing to be in a relationship with them. But there's always people in their life who've already been investing in them who are going to move on, who are tired of trying to get them to move forward in life repeating an old pattern, or being more about themselves, or more about the world, or more about their image or status. And they're going to have some high vibe people leave, and yeah, there'll be other people. God uses all things for God's good purposes, And if people have free will in the world, we need to have shadowy people in the world so that when people get in relationship with them, they can decide, is this what I want to manifest? Do I think this is just and fair? Is this the type of relationship I want to stay in? And some people say, nope, I'm leaving. And other people who either haven't learned the truth about people like this, have some lessons to learn about people like that, are going to be the next people to get in a relationship with them. But eventually, the people who might end up staying in a relationship with them maybe are other people who are also, view life this way, think about relationships this way. This makes logical, practical sense. I had people who wanted me to put in work and effort to grow and heal and mature myself. I didn't want to do that. I just want to be in a relationship. Do we get along well enough? Does it look good? Not too confusing maybe. Because I kind of view the sharing card as the Six of Cups, which is Scorpio. We're these emotionally complex people. Some people like to kind of just use again their emotions and their sexuality like as they need them. I will take a tissue of emotion out of the box to contribute to this relationship. But I don't really want to open myself up to get out of my ego and my fear to really be more authentic and inspired by love. And if they can find someone who is either going to be more codependent on them, likes that type of relationship, might be bossy and controlling of them, because sometimes some people who are immature, in order for them to kind of clean up their act, they kind of need someone who's willing to kind of play that role in their life. And not everyone wants to play that role. I don't want to be like a parent to my partner, but some people do like that relationship dynamic. And, as long as they find someone who's on the same page as them, and if they're kind of have the same vision of what drives and motivates them, then that is a just and fair relationship. What's unjust and unfair is when someone who knows they're more about themselves, or they're hiding the truth about who they are, that they aren't really motivated and inspired to be motivated by love or being just and fair or acting with character and integrity, to try to trap someone who is more hopeful and believing in those things, and try to trap them in a relationship when they know their truth isn't their truth, but just hoping if they get them in it because of the ego or the image and stuff like that, that they won't get out of it, or because they had children together that they won't get out of it. That's an injustice, and God tries to, in the Tower, kind of illuminate to people, this isn't just and fair. And if people are willing to listen to their intuition and stand up for themselves and work through all the fears and insecurities they have of standing up for what they believe in, and to go be inspired to stand up for what they believe in, they're going to keep staying in something that isn't aligned with their truth. And that's kind of an injustice, because you have your life to manifest what's aligned with your truth. And some shadowy people count on the fact that in your more worldly, codependent nature and want for these things of the world, and letting the world, you could even look, shadowy energy can just be the world at large, or your world, or your culture, or your society, that tries to dictate and control you, because that's what shadowy energy is. It's represented by the devil, trying to oppress you, confine you, restrict you, oppress you. And high vibe people say, I adhere to a higher truth and justice, and this is not just and fair. If other people want to go do this, you go do that. That's fine. But I'm not willing to stay in something that might look, by worldly standards, like I got it, what people would want in the world. This is an unstable foundation. It's not a solid foundation. It has to be built on love, and both people have to be operating from love. So maybe this is saying that the people you are going, if you're not in a relationship right now, or if you are, both seeing that we both have to detach from indulging in extremes one way or the other to be a good leader in our life. And as I give birth to like loving my more creative, inspired, hopeful, believing nature, and I get in relationships with other people, and together then the child can represent that, creating a new energy. When two people come together, physically people could give birth to a new child, right? But in friendships and relationships, it's creating a new energy that didn't exist before. And this would be one that is more hopeful and believing in what can be. The other one could have been more inspired by the world. And we all initially are more inspired, kind of, and caught up in the world and these things of the world until we kind of learn these lessons. And for a while, we weren't listening to other people who were probably trying to offer us love and encouragement. And we're like, no, 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 this is what I want to go indulge in. This will make me happy. Kind of our own creative, inspired nature is like, would you please hurry up and learn the lessons you're meant to learn so we can really move forward and bring your dreams into reality? And some people were finally inspired to invest in their more creative, inspired nature than repeating an old pattern. So there you go, Cancer. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.